Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. So we are digging into a recent poll that I did. And the question I asked, this is important, okay? The question I asked was, I'm old. Do recruiters have a responsibility to support job seekers, not their active candidates, outside of their day jobs? I worded it like that for a reason. Interesting discussion. Over 2,000 votes, which I thought was a very nice sample size for a poll on LinkedIn. Not scientific by any means. And I provided options. I actually created answers for both recruiters and non-recruiters. I really wanted to know what everybody thought of this. So, total number of votes, 2,139 votes. Would you be surprised to learn that twice as many recruiters voted yes as non-recruiters? I'm not making that up. See for yourself. I'll post the little graphic here. Pause it if you'd like so you can really hone in on it. Yeah. I was surprised. Here's why I was surprised. First of all, I'm going to start with what prompted this poll and video. I saw two different posts from two different recruiters, one right after the other. So it was really interesting. Like the algorithm was like, here, Amy, let's blow your mind. What? First post I saw was from a recruiter who was very clear and specific in letting everybody know that they would not be having their brain picked. Okay? This is an individual who I personally, I don't know either of these recruiters in person, but I do follow both of them. And this recruiter was just adamant that my time is finite. My day job is a priority. My family, myself, my emotional well-being matter to me. And I will not be working outside of my 9 to 5. Paraphrasing heavily, obviously. I was like, okay, I can dig it. I'd like to be like that more often because I do tend to burn myself out. But I thought that was an interesting discussion. I liked it. Immediately following that post, this is where my mind started kind of getting blown a little bit. The very next post in my scroll was a recruiter who said the absolute opposite. This person, second person, said, not only do we have the ability, knowledge, insights, whatever, not wrong, we have a responsibility, an obligation. Obligation was the word that was used. I remember now. We have an obligation to help job seekers that we cannot place. So again, we're not talking about our day job. We're not talking about our active candidates. We're not talking about potential candidates. We're not talking about prospects. We're not talking about people in our industry. We're talking about the random guy who does something that we don't know nothing about, never heard of, and never recruited for. We should be picking up the phone and talking to that person because recruiters are obligated to help. I can see it. This is where it got hard for me because I could literally argue either side, depending on the day, depending on my mood, depending on my bandwidth. Boundaries are important. I will not be good at my day job if I'm allowing myself to get burnt out and pulled in too many other directions. I am just one person with a finite amount of energy and mental resources. On the other hand, I'm also somebody who's really freaking good at recruiting. Just saying. I know a lot about a lot of things when it comes to hiring and getting hired. So do I, coming from that place of knowledge and expertise, it's not bragging if you can back it up, okay? Don't at me in the comments. Coming from that place of expertise, do I have a responsibility to help job seekers? Maybe. And so that's where, like, I needed to hear from all of you. I needed to know how other folks are thinking of this, because again, I could argue both sides. And I wanted to make sure that I could get a pulse on what's right, what's expected, what's normal. So 2,139 votes, far and away, the no's stole the show. 81% of the total votes said, no, you do not have this responsibility. I was relieved. Thank God. I was feeling a little pressure there for a moment. So I appreciate that so many folks, both recruiters and non-recruiters alike, agreed that no, this is not an obligation. You have a day job you get paid for. That's where you spend your energy. So thank you for that. But there was another 18% that said, actually, yeah, you do. But what's fascinating about that 18%, and I realize it only adds up to 99%. I don't know where the other 1% is, people. Okay, talk to LinkedIn. I don't know what happened there. But the other 18%, twice as many recruiters said yes than non-recruiters. So 12% of the total respondents were recruiters who said, yes, you do have this obligation. 6% were non-recruiters who said, no, you don't. That's interesting. So here's my advice to you, my beloved job-seeking community. If you are appreciative of the advice of the recruiters going above and beyond, of us working outside of our day jobs, and I appreciate it when you appreciate us. I really do. Let's all just hug it out, okay? Anyway, here's my advice. I'm going to give you 2 specific things that I want you to think about. So number 1, if you are looking for support, coaching, some kind of additional above and beyond, outside the day job kind of input from recruiters, I'm going to tell you to go after the active ones. Okay? And I do include myself in that. I am all over social media. I am on LinkedIn probably every day. It is not healthy, but here I am. And I have really made peace with my personal style being a one-to-many approach. I try to create content that can be leveraged by anyone who watches. I try to not give you answers, but better said, ask the right questions. That's my goal with content and, supporting all of you outside my day job. So look for the people who are active. Look for the ones who are actually talking about recruiting, who are opening themselves up to questions and comments and discussions and learnings. Like, those are the people you're going to get probably something good out of. If you're going after the person who hasn't logged into LinkedIn for 6 months, you're not going to get anywhere. But if you're going after the person who is active and is engaged in conversations, better odds. Okay, so that's number 1. Find the people who are actually engaged and active and providing some sort of, even if it's one-to-many type of support. Number 2, and this is really important, if you only take one thing away from this video, let it be this: be specific. I cannot stress enough how much I need y'all to be clear and specific in your asks. This is critical. What I mean by that, okay, if you have a specific question about, let's say, an interview process at Google, you're like, Amy, I know you used to work at Google. It's been a while since you were there, but I'm interviewing and do you have any advice on this specific thing? Got you. again, I will try to help you ask the right questions. I might point you back to previous content that I've created. I might point you to other creators or coaches who might be, have more insight there. But the more specific you are in that ask, the more I'm able to help. And I know that feels counterintuitive. A lot of job seekers are like, no. I just want to be like generic and, I'll take anything and I just need any kind of help. We don't know how to solve that. Let me tell you something. 35 years I've known this man, okay? You know the one thing my husband and I argue about? We do not fight ever. Like, he's my person and we're so good. The one thing we fight about, what's for dinner? It's ridiculous. What's for dinner? I will spiral. Don't ask me what's for dinner. I can't do it. Give me specifics. Ames, I'm going to McDonald's. You want a chicken sandwich or a double cheeseburger? Okay, that is the kind of question that I need. Please don't go to McDonald's. It makes my stomach hurt. So you see where I'm going with this? I need specifics. Do not give me this generic, maybe, whatever you want. No. Is it Italian night or is it Mexican night? Because I can make a decision based on that. But if you just say, what's for dinner? I'm going to lose my mind. See where I'm going with this? You might have the same experience with some recruiters out there, okay? If you're just like, hey, how do I write a resume? I don't know. But if you're specific in your ask, if you're being clear, if you're being direct, if you know what you're missing, we are so much better at filling that gap and giving you something worthwhile to work with. Okay? All right. Went over, as usual. Why did I ever think I would make these videos 10 minutes or less? Anyway, I hope it was helpful, y'all. Check out the poll results for yourself. I will link to the comment down below, or the post down below. There's some good comments in there. You might learn a few things. Really, it was a good conversation. I'm glad that we had it. Again, total, complete respect to recruiters who are strict with their boundaries, recruiters who are open with their calendars and opportunities for coaching. I love you both. I think you're both amazing and good luck out there. But again, as always, transparency is key. Please make sure that we are communicating to job seekers what they can expect from us so that they are not set up for disappointment. Because I know the 12%, let's do the math, 12% of 2,139. Let's just do the math. I'm curious now. Hang out with me for a minute. 2139 times 0.12. 256 recruiters. I know y'all weren't voting that way just to be performative, right? Right? Anyway, thank you for engaging. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you next week.